she comes again like good medicine. Every step she takes, my blood is flowing. Her legs go on and on for days. She's got a hold on me, I need the remedy. Just to hold her would be a cure for me. I can't keep going on this way. She's on the top of her game. She don't know my name, which is what it is. She's on the lead. Look out, she'll tear your heart out. Look out, she'll rock the woman go down. She goes beyond what you want to. I'd do anything she wanted me to.
How are you? I know I didn't see you.
Here she comes again, she makes me wanna say. My heart stops when I think about her coming. Her legs go on and on for days. She's got a hold on me, it's a tragedy that I will never get the chance to have close to me. When she moves, she takes my breath away. She's on the top of the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to come in. While you're walking in, since Jack Piccolo just handed me a microphone, I'm going to embarrass him one last time. I may never thank him again. You know, in United States history, I was thinking about this recently. Henry Knox, during the Revolutionary War, went all the way up to Fort Ticonderoga and brought cannons with oxen sleds down from Ticonderoga to Boston to drive the British out of Boston. And during the Civil War, we had a great governor here in Connecticut, Governor Buckingham, who, knowing that our troops would need guns, went over to Europe, sent an agent to Europe, and at his own expense bought rifles that were then used by Connecticut servicemen during the Civil War. There's a statue of Governor Buckingham in the Capitol in Hartford. And when I saw it, I thought of Jack Piccolo, who is the man who, when the Tea Party movement began, said, I think I'll buy a sound system so that the Tea Party people will never have to rent it. And it has been the greatest help to the movement, and he had foresight and planning, to my mind, like Henry Knox and Governor Buckingham. So please give a round of applause. My name is Joe Markley. I'm happy to be here with you today. And I'm happy that Linda McMahon has agreed to come in and speak to us. We had Linda's support of the Republican Senate candidates that we had speak to Grassroots Alliance. And I think Rob Simmons was the first. And Rob Simmons faced some very intense questions from people. And I think he acquitted himself well. And even if we didn't agree with everything he said, he demonstrated his willingness to face that question. And
I might do it this way. Yes. I can't whisper softly enough to use that microphone. I sound like I'm making an odd phone call when I do that. Rob was willing to take that questioning, and I think we even if we didn't agree with him, we realized that he was a courageous and an honest and a straightforward man. And I think we will find the same thing today with Linda McMahon. What I would ask is, I know there's going to be some very difficult questions. I will call on, put your hands up, and I will just start calling on people on the audience. There aren't that many here that I don't think I can handle it that way. I'll go out to you with a microphone so everybody can hear the question. But please, I want good, tough questions, but respectful questions as far as it goes. She's here as our guest. She's agreed to face the music, and I don't feel like we should make her any more uncomfortable than the question does in and of itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further introduction, candidate for the United States Senate for the Republican nomination, Linda McMahon.
Good with the mic, or is it better without the mic?
Yeah.
Without the mic?
Yeah.
Everybody can hear me? Yeah. So much for your sound. It's a funny story. When I was in the 3rd grade, this reminded me of that this morning. Our school was presenting this kind of variety show, and each class had selected one student to do something. So my 3rd grade class was reading this big poem, and I was the one selected to recite the poem. And so at the end of the evening, people were coming up to my mom, my dad, and were very proud of my whole rendition of this particular poem. And so my mom, thinking that I'm just this, wonderful, person who could do all of this, said to the teacher, I was just really pleased that Linda was selected. And the teacher said, well, yes, she does have good delivery, but we knew that Linda's voice could be heard in the back of the room, so she was the one who got to recite the poem. So since then, I've known I have a big mouth, and I can be heard at the back of the room. It's really a pleasure to be with all of you here this afternoon. I thank you for coming and for listening to me, to have interest in my campaign and interest to ask me questions so that I can be responsive to you. Joe had asked me to have a few kind of opening remarks, to say really hello, but not to go into a big long speech because you had questions, and after all, that's why I'm here, to answer your questions and just to talk with you. I'm really happy for the opportunity just to visit and talk with you and let you get to know me a little bit better this afternoon. I think we can all agree that we need changes in our government, and I appreciate the passion that you bring to the table, that your willingness to fight for what you think is right, and how we can reinstitute the American dream in our country. Because that's what I've had the opportunity to live, is the American dream. I started early, many years ago, in the late 70s, and have been through a bankruptcy and learning how to grow business. I've lost my home, my cars, credit cards, and some friends, family helped out a bit to help us get back, but we were able to come back from that. And so I know what it's like to have the opportunity here in this country to grow a business, to come out of that kind of hardship, and to be successful. And that's what I want all of the continuing generations after me. My children, my 5 little grandchildren will be 6 in August, so I'm very happy about that. But that's really what got me into this race. It was knowing that our government is growing too big and taking our country in the wrong direction. And I just couldn't sit on the sidelines anymore. I had to get involved. I've never run for public office. I'm not a career politician, nor do I intend to become one. I don't need a job. I don't need another career. I don't need fame. I don't need fortune. I'm doing this because I feel compelled for us as citizens to come forth and to do things. I really am putting money that I've earned from my company behind me in this campaign. I'm not taking special interest or PAC money because I don't want to owe any favors. I don't want to give up the independence of my vote. I'm able to do that, and I'm pleased I can. So I do take contributions up to $100 from individuals. I love volunteers because it's going to take an army of people working through the summer and in the fall, to defeat Richard Blumenthal. But that's what we're going to do. This is our first time in decades to send a Republican senator to Washington, and we really do need to do that. But it's going to take phone calls, knocking on doors, having a big grassroots effort to get that done, and I'm going to be out there doing all of those things, contrasting with Richard Blumenthal, and just taking it to him. Because he's not really ever had a real fight. He's going to have one in November. And I'm pretty scrappy. So I'm going to be in there, and I'm going to be fighting hard for that success. So I'd love to have all of you there with me, fighting to send someone to Washington who really does understand about small businesses and job creation, who knows what it's like to miss a credit card payment, to know what it's like to be late with your mortgage sometime, to know what it's like to try to grow a business and expand the economy here, not only in our state, but in our country. So I'm going to be there fighting for those principles that I think we all believe in, which are smaller government, less spending. Let's please bring down this debt that we have.